You're listening to Brainbusta Radio.
Welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. And here's your host, Conrad Cushman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another roundtable for Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans. Wait for it. For the fans. And I'm your host, Conrad Cushman, and we have an AEW special roundtable today. And the day you're listening to this on, hopefully Saturday, you guys are getting ready for AEW's All Out. I have some very special guests with me. And before we do that, you know, we got to get through the promos and all the shilling we got to do. So I want everybody, first and foremost, to be thanked for their participation in the summer stream. We made all of our goals, so thank you so much. And if you guys spent any money and you're waiting to get cashed in on those things, reach out to Brainbusta Radio and we will work with you on that. But don't forget, today is also Wrestling Resurgence. So if you're in the UK, you can get 15% off your tickets using the code BrainBusta15. That will be in the description box of the video if you guys don't know. And that's Busta, BUSTA, the number 1, the number 5. You can also get 15% off your Resurgence merch. We will have the link down below, but that is BrainBuster15, and that's yes with the ER. So make sure you guys put that in. And we also can get you 10% off the Four Corners cards if you guys use the code BBRadio10. We have some awesome cards going out for you guys for all the latest and greatest in independent pro wrestling. So get your cards today because they could be worth big money one day. You never know. And don't forget, Wrestling Resurgence has a big Iron Woman match coming up with Charlie Evans and Kanji. You guys are not going to want to miss that if you're in the UK. There is lots of good wrestling today. But enough of the shilling, enough of me jibber jabbering. Let's see who we have on our round table today. Let's go around and just introduce ourselves. Let's start with Mr. Zach first.
Well, thank you for having me back on your show, Conrad. My name is Zachary Shiloh. I'm the host of Black Lions Airspace and Black Lions Eyesight. And a good friend of ours who's on the panel actually made my show logo. Thank you very much. Wink, wink.
All right. Chris.
What's good, people? It's your boy, Chris, a.k.a. Black Baymax. And if the name sounds familiar, yeah, I may have done a couple of edits here and there. I mean, the person that Zach was talking about is yours truly. Back like you never left. Conrad, appreciate the invite, brother.
No, all good, Chris. All good. New to the panel is my man from YouTube. I've been on his channel many of times, and he's been on mine. It is Malik Kelly. Malik, aka Narcolepsy Boy 94 on YouTube. What is going on, Malik?
It's going good, man. Glad to be here. Appreciate you for having me. Never done one of these before, so I'm looking forward to it.
No doubt. We also have Andy from the All Elite Podcast. Andy, how are you, good sir?
I'm doing great, Conrad. Getting ready to be on my way to All Out here in a couple minutes after we film this, but I'm doing good. I'm the host of the All Elite Podcast. I'm happy that you invited me.
All good, brother. This is a roundtable, guys. So you guys, we're speaking freely. We're talking like we're playing poker during all of this, so no worries. And last but not least, the man who was supposed to be on several of my roundtables, it never worked out. So to me, this is like some Back to the Future type stuff. We've got RJ on here from Ringside Rant. RJ, it feels good to have someone who is a neighbor near me in New York that's not from New York City. RJ, how are you?
I'm doing very, very good. You can just call me Marty McFly. I am Back to the Future. It's great to be here finally. Our schedules can finally align. The stars in the sky are aligned. The sun is set. We are great.
That I thought you were going on an Ultimate Warrior promo rant. I got worried for a second. But guys, we are here to talk AEW, all the excitement around it, and we've got some good things here. So let's get right into it. August 31st, it's a big day for the wrestling community, and this podcast roundtable is going to focus on AEW. But first, we got to start off talking about, I feel, New Japan's Royal Quest and NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. Are you guys excited for one show more particular than the other? Are you going to be watching any of these other shows that day? Is it too much wrestling for you? Kind of just give your thoughts on that. And for this one, let's go in reverse. Let's start with RJ first here.
Oh, wonderful. So being on the East Coast, like with you, Conrad, it's I'm looking forward to the NXT UK a little bit more than the rest. But with that being at, I believe it's 3:00 or 2:00 here on the East Coast, that's going to be on the network. That is going to be a little bit more feasible for me, anyways. I'm also looking forward to All Out as well, just to see how that lines up with the rest of them. See, you're not going to have, a lot of people are going to try to compare and contrast them, which you just can't. But yeah, and I don't think it's too much wrestling, because you can pick and choose no matter what, because you get a lot of these, these promotions that'll book at the same time or what have you. So it's not too much for me, anyways.
I like it. Andy, let's go to you because I want to hear your thoughts on this. I know your podcast is strictly AEW, right?
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I pay most attention to. However, when all of these shows were announced, as just a fan of wrestling, I was really excited that I was going to sit down and watch all of them. That was before I was planning on going to All Out. Now that I'm going to the show and going to a lot of other indie shows this weekend, I honestly don't think I'll catch much of either of the other shows, just because I'll be so busy and so caught up in wrestling throughout the weekend that I won't really have time for it.
Now, what other shows are you going to be going to, just out of curiosity?
I'm going to the Jim Lyman Memorial Tournament. I'm going to both nights of that, and I also might go to the Game Changer Wrestling show on Friday. So
okay, GC.
It's just a lot of wrestling all in one weekend.
I hear you. Shout out to Tiffany too, by the way. I know she's going to be listening to this. Mr. Malik, same question for you, man. What are you looking forward to? New Japan's Royal Quest, NXT TakeOver. Are you going to try and watch all three? What's going on with you that day?
All three is a bit of a stretch for me. I'm definitely gonna watch TakeOver and All Out, but New Japan, I'll probably just catch the highlights of it because on the East Coast, I don't know what time does the show even start? Like on the East Coast,
12:30.
Oh yeah, see that's a bit of a stretch. So I'll probably go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it'll bleed into TakeOver UK.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch UK more since I got the network and stuff, and I kind of like the card they built up too for UK, so I'm probably definitely gonna watch that one.
Yeah, Cesaro's gonna be on the show supposedly, so that's not bad. Chris, what are you watching August 31st, my friend?
Like Malik, I'm probably gonna be watching UK TakeOver Cardiff and All Out. World Quest, whenever it comes out on New Japan World, I'll catch up on that. But yeah, my weekend won't start until Friday because GCW 2-Cup stuff, I'm gonna be all up in that. But UK TakeOver Cardiff and All Out is what I'm gonna really pay most attention to. And who can never say no to too much wrestling? I mean, you have to be some kind of crazy and insane person not to say no to all that wrestling for your face piece. Like, seriously.
I try to have as much fun as I can. I'm starting to run out of the time, though, man, just to watch all of it. I'm like, I'll get back to watching that. And then I never do, especially with a lot of those indie shows. It's tough, man.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Yeah.
And Zach, last but not least, my good friend, what are you doing August 31st?
Oh, August 31st. If Rev Pro actually has a Summer Sizzler, I'm going to try and watch that. Believe it or not, I'm going to actually watch Royal Quest on Fight TV. I'm actually paid my $25. And I'm kind of hoping for a Suzuki-Gun sweep. Like it's been for, I say, like the last year or so now.
Ooh, that's some big stuff, man. Suzuki over Okada?
I'm hoping so, but I'm not getting my hopes up completely because of Okada being Okada.
I hear you. Now, gents, I'm going to run through everybody real quick. I've gave you enough time to think about this. It could be from any show except for the AEW show. You just give me one match that you're looking forward to this weekend. And we'll start with RJ.
Honestly, I'm really looking forward to the Pac and Omega match. You know, not a lot of
no AEW.
No AEW. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking forward to the UK title match between Walter and Bate, just because we have Bate being the first UK champion, Walter being this, unstoppable force. I'll call it right now. We're going to see a quote unquote, I guess, upset with Bate getting the title off of Walter.
Ooh, that's a big one, man. I don't know if I agree with that, but I think that I wouldn't be mad.
I just have that gut feeling that, I think Walter is kind of, I don't want to say they put it on too soon, but I just think that the future, I think, is in Bate more than Walter, I think. And I'm not discrediting his ability or his work ethic or whatever, but I just think, the best bet right now is, Bate is the future of the UK division.
Okay. Andy.
For me, I guess I would go with the Tyler Bate and Walter match as far as like a mainstream match that I'm looking forward to, but I'm honestly really looking forward to seeing MJF and Colt Cabana. That's going to be a match at the Jim Lyman Memorial Tournament, just because I really enjoy MJF's work, his heel work, and the way he'll play off of Cabana. I think that those two will have a really interesting match, so
me and
I'm excited for
MJF
that.
got heat, bro. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. No, we had a funny exchange. I said I was reviewing a show locally here, and he definitely talked some crap to me. And so we went back and forth on Twitter or whatever. I said, yeah, that's why Brandy called you a bitch and all this stuff. Yeah, if I'll put the E on it, I know I said a bad word. And we went back and forth, and all of a sudden he said, yeah, who wants to do autographs for me? And I was like, listen, man, all I got is $20. He was like, Cue Ball, you're first. Come up here. And I said, you know who you're talking to? He was like, no. And I said, the guy who did the review. And he was like, oh, hey, man. And I was like, yeah, you better watch yourself. And everybody was laughing. I got him in a couple of the photos, but it was nothing but fun. MJF is a remarkable heel. Like, this dude doesn't turn it off ever.
So, yeah, exactly. And I'm going to this tournament with my girlfriend who's not really into wrestling really big, so I'm wondering how she's going to react to someone like MJF who doesn't turn it off. So.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be great.
My wife has had a couple jaw-dropping moments with him on Being the Elite that she was like, can he say something like that? I'm like, it's on YouTube. I don't know. Malik, what match you're looking forward to?
Obviously, the main event for TakeOver UK is going to be great, but I want to see the tag team match between Zach Gibson, James Drake, Mark Andrews, Flash Morgan Webster, and Mark Coffey Wolfgang. I think that's going to be a pretty good one. Triple threat tag team match for the UK title.
I got to clap it up, man. That's the same for me, man. That match looks remarkable. First off, let me just say those NXT UK tag belts are the sexiest belts in all of WWE. Like, I love the look of those titles.
Agreed. I think the main event will probably be the best match, but this one I think is going to be a sleeper. I think it's going to be a damn good match.
All right, Chris.
I'm with Malik on this one. I'm going with Girls of Young Vets, Southwell Subculture, and Gallus. And also the main event, Walter versus Tyler Bate. Suzuki and Okada, of course. G.O.D. versus Aussie Open. G.O.D. versus Aussie Open. That's a match that I've never seen. That's a matchup I would love to watch. And also on Friday, I'm definitely looking forward to FE versus Nick Gage for the GCW World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes, that's going to be awesome as well. Those are all stellar matches that you have picked out. Really good stuff for people to check out, especially if you've never seen GCW. All worth it. And Zach, what is your one match non-AEW that you're looking forward to?
Okada versus Suzuki. The first one in, I say, almost 2.5 years. I've been waiting for Suzuki to at least get a sniff of the heavyweight belt. And this is the closest he's going to get. My biggest regret was not seeing him and Zack Sabre win the Rev Pro Tag Team titles. So this is if he actually does become the champion, I can say, hey, my $25 wasn't quite so bad after all.
All right, guys. Guys, we've talked enough about these other shows. Let's get into AEW. It's my main focus usually for these roundtables. I've been a big fan of AEW. I've been on board with it. I've went through all of my things. If you guys want to, go back to my Double or Nothing preview. I actually did kind of like a reason why I'm not as much of a WWE fan anymore because of and it was behind Eminem Stan in the background. It's like terrible. But AEW's got my hopes up, so I'm hoping that this will elevate the wrestling business and more companies all around. And I think it works out for everybody. So my question is, what are your expectations going into AEW's All Out? We could talk about a little counter programming, NXT versus AEW or AEW on TNT. And I want to start with Andy for this one.
My expectations for the show are high. Just coming off of Double or Nothing, the main feeling that I had at the end of the show was that I didn't need a surprise. It was such a good show overall that when it was over, I was ready for it to be done. Unlike the feeling I have watching a lot of WWE pay-per-views where I'm waiting for something else because the event just didn't seem to do it for me. So looking at the card for All Out, I basically feel the exact same way. I don't necessarily feel like there are actually a lot of matches that stand out as potential match of the night, and I think that by the end of the show, regardless of who you want to win the World Championship match, you're still going to be satisfied with the entire show just because of how good it was.
Yeah, I definitely think that that main event's got a job to do, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Andy, I kind of want to get your thoughts on this whole counter programming and NXT a little bit too.
I think it's interesting the way that WWE is trying to utilize NXT, and I think that the fact that NXT is going to get a head start on AEW obviously creates somewhat of a problem for AEW, but I think at the same time it helps because it gets the regular fan used to watching wrestling on a Wednesday night, and if they're just channel surfing, they might come upon AEW either way. And honestly, just as a fan, I'm super excited for the counter programming part of it, just because I'm really impressed with NXT's roster. I'm impressed with AEW's roster. So as a fan, it's the perfect scenario for me. Wednesdays are going to be awesome.
I like it. I like it. And from that, let's go back to RJ on this one. Same question, RJ. What are your expectations going into All Out?
You know, just like any other pay-per-view or wrestling event that I watch, whether it be independent or one of these major promotions, I look at the card and I say, hey, you know, how is the matches going to live up to the hype? I think I'm going in with this where I really hope the production is a lot better. I know the in-ring talent's going to be there without a doubt. I just hope they had these little hiccups that they've had at the last two events as far as the production, as far as music, as far as video, as far as, you know, when something happens, they use to a different camera angle. Hopefully this time around that'll be sufficient enough and it'll work out. But I'm really hoping that, you know, this is going to be probably the best show that they put on live because they are going into this fight, you want to say maybe, with WWE. As much as everybody here doesn't want to admit it, they are in for a fight because when they go to Wednesday nights, you know, it's going to happen. And this is going to be that first stepping stone to that, I think. And I really do expect them to do very, very well.
Okay. I like it. I like it. Malik, what do you think? What are your expectations going into All Out?
Very high. I mean, I don't see how this is going to be a bad show, to be honest. I mean, the card is phenomenal from start to finish. Obviously, them going up against NXT is going to be very interesting because NXT is the best product that WWE has right now. So, you know, they definitely, whether people want to admit it or not, no, WWE definitely wants a war out of this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Vince McMahon wants them at all to be.
Can I pause you for 1 second?
Go ahead.
You said WWE wants a war out of this?
I think they do.
Elaborate for the people.
I think Vince McMahon wants to, I don't want to say necessarily compete, but I think he wants to go head to head with them. It's no coincidence that AEW announces that they're going to be on Wednesdays, and then all of a sudden NXT comes out a couple weeks later and say, "Oh, we're on Wednesdays now. You know, Wednesday nights I'm going to have a live show now." It's like it's no coincidence that they do stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, with SmackDown going to Fridays and then having Raw on Mondays, NXT was the option, and NXT is the best brand they got. So it only makes sense for them to put NXT on Wednesdays and have AEW on Wednesdays, because now fans are gonna have to pick which one they want to watch live and which one they want to watch maybe after the show's over. You know what I mean? But I think All Out's gonna be good though. This is gonna be their big shot right here before they head to TV. And I think it's going to be better than Double or Nothing, in my opinion. I think it's going to be the best show they put on so far, as the start of the of their era. I mean, obviously they got a lot to prove and everything down the road and everything once they start going on TV and start going to different towns and stuff. But I think they're going to make a big impact. I think everybody who's on the show and everybody who's in production, everything, they know how important this is. So this is I think they look at it as it's a hit or miss. As fans, I think we look at it as the show's going to be great no matter what. You know what I mean? But for them, as the workers, I think they're taking it very serious.
Okay, Chris.
My expectations for All Out is going to be very high. It is going to be like sort of the learning curve that they got from Double or Nothing to All Out. Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen, yeah, they're like, yeah, you have hiccups. You have all those here and there. But All Out is basically your final test before you go to live TV. Yeah, before you go to live TV in October. And my issue with the AEW NXT, I'm like, hey, it's more wrestling. And in the grand scheme of things, it's like more wrestling. In my personal opinion. But as far as this calling it a Wednesday Night War, let's just see how it plays out. If one gets more views than the other, then that's great. If AEW gets more views than NXT, cool. If NXT gets more views than AEW, fine, cool, whatever.
I just don't want any. Here's the weird thing. Like, I feel like people want this to be a war, and I'm just like, why can't both exist? Because war usually means somebody's going down and there's no more of the other side. I don't think we need that. I feel like this as a wrestling community, it should just kind of be like, listen, if you like that, that's cool, man. You should check this out too, and you should check that out. But the fans are already pitting against each other, because I've seen it. There are some very cringeworthy fans who are WWE fans. I've seen some very cringeworthy AEW fans at the same time. So I would really love it if the wrestling community kind of united, and that's part of why we do these roundtables and everything else. I would love to just see it so that it's like, well, why can't you enjoy both? I love NXT and AEW. Those are probably my two favorite brands to watch. And it's just, I'm just kind of in this weird position with it. And I think you sounded like you wanted the same thing. There's nothing wrong with more wrestling. I just wanted to reiterate that point for some of the people.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, when I was listening to a podcast with like JR and stuff about it, and he was talking about like Vince McMahon, when he took down all the other territories, like he wanted to be the only company, like he wanted to be the only wrestling company, and he wanted to be the major one, which he has. He built an entire empire with the company. But he was saying that basically what he was saying is that Vince McMahon loves to compete. He was saying, like I said, it wasn't no coincidence that they just put NXT on Wednesdays after AEW had already announced they're going to be on TV's Wednesdays. You know what I mean? Like, he looks at it as competition.
Here's the weird thing, though. This will be the last thing I say about it, because then we're going to get Zach's point in here. But when I see all of this whole Vince McMahon thing, Vince McMahon is a person who I've kind of studied. I've done book reports about him. I've done reports about his company. It's crazy. And I went to school for business, so I understand a lot of the ins and outs. But while reading about Vince McMahon and knowing him from all these years, I think Vince McMahon loves tension between people in a room, even between companies. I think he feels like it's a better environment and it makes competition better. And Vince McMahon, I just heard that today. Like I forgot what the story was about. Maybe it was something about Brett and Sean or something.
Yeah,
he loves that tension. He doesn't want to admit to it because he knows it makes for better television, but he loves that. And I think he needs that right now because his product is stale. There is nothing exciting about WWE.
He sees dollar signs out of it. So I mean, that's the important thing about the company. Drawing money, and that's what he sees.
Yeah, Zach, let's get to your point though on this. AEW All Out. What are your expectations, good sir?
All right, AEW All Out. They really have my expectations very, very high. The past two shows they were very, very good. But now they have to prove that, oh, we're not just a t-shirt company. WWE's not just better than us. Oh, and speaking of that, like, they need to get away from that. Stop fucking around with WWE. Excuse me. Get away from that. Do your own thing. Both sides really need to do that, in my point of view.
Okay. I hear you on that. That definitely makes sense. And like I said, there's a lot of people who say stupid stuff on both sides that you just look at. I'm just like, oh God, I'm not even replying to this.
Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at powerslam.tv.
Guys, let's talk about something else now. This is going to be the heartbreaker kind of in the middle here. We're going to talk a little Jon Moxley. Now, how heartbroken were you guys about Jon Moxley not being at All Out? Like, it sucked the energy from my soul. When I read that, I was like, no, I was looking forward to this match. Like, you hyped me up for this. How could you? And then literally, probably within the next few minutes, I saw the new tweet come out and the new match that was set up, which is Kenny Omega versus Pac. And I was like, this could be an upgrade, and this can enhance the match from before. And if you guys are all caught up on being the elite, it looks like that's what it's done. And I think they've done some tremendous work with this. So basically what I'm asking is, were you guys sad about him not competing at All Out? And also, would you consider Pac and Omega an upgrade? And we can kind of talk about it a little bit. Let's start with Malik on this one.
Well, first off, I mean, I think we're all pretty much upset. You know, I was just like you when I seen something about it at first, but I didn't believe it until I started seeing more about it, and I was like, man, like, this is one of the matches I was looking forward to. Like, this was like, to me, I thought it was going to be the co-main event, you know what I mean, or that or the tag team match. But once they announced Pac was going to be in it, I think it's kind of an upgrade match-wise. I think Kenny Omega and Pac can have a better match. But I did like the story that, you know, they were doing with Moxley and Omega. You know, I thought they would have had a pretty good match too. In the feud going forward, I think they would have continued to feud down the road too, which would have been good TV. But I have no issue with Pac being, you know, the replacement. I mean, obviously, we know he was supposed to be at Double or Nothing, and they had issues with that, so he wasn't on the show. But now that he is going to be on the show, Kenny Omega as his first opponent, there's no complaints about that. I mean, I don't see how people can be upset with that either.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to kick it to Andy for this one. Andy can probably confirm this. I don't know how true this is, Andy, but I saw rumors that this was the original all-out match if Pac had competed at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, that was my feeling, at least, especially on the thought. Even if you look at the booking and the way they had everything lined up with Fyter Fest and Omega and the Bucks taking on the Lucha Brothers and Pac, you kind of had the idea that that's the way they were going. And now it just seems like they were able to fulfill that match in the long run. And I think I was with you in the sense of I was like, I think that they can make the Moxley and Omega feud better off of this, but I didn't think it would be that much better. When I watched Being the Elite and heard Omega's promo, I was like, damn, they were really able to turn this feud into like a blood feud overnight off of an accidental injury. And I think they really lucked into a best case scenario without even thinking about it, because the match itself, like everybody says, is probably going to be better. Pac versus Omega, that's got to be a dream match for so many people. So.
Yeah, and we all know, I think, that they're going to rip this up. Let's kick it to RJ for the same question about Moxley and would he consider Pac and Omega an upgrade?
Well, first and foremost, I think, like you guys said before me, if you weren't upset when you saw the news, then, you know, I guess to say, I don't want to say you're not a real wrestling fan, but you're not really digging what they're doing then, I guess. But as far as is it an upgrade, I would 100% say it's an upgrade. Before the news, the rumor and innuendo came out as far as this being the original plan, I always thought that was going to happen regardless because of what happened previous, where, okay, a couple shows before, we were supposed to have this. Why don't we use this as a backup in case anything does happen? because it's a best case scenario. But I think, like you said, Conrad, I think that they're going to be building off this and making the storyline even better. And I'm hoping that is what AEW is going to be doing differently than the rest of the promotions, WWE, Impact, whatever. They're going to tell a story. They're not going to be, okay, we'll get in, we get out, bada bing, bada boom, like WWE does. I want them to create a story, and they've done that thus far, especially with this Omega and Moxley, and then obviously with Cody and Spears as well. So I'm definitely digging it. It stinks that Moxley can't do it, but I think that leading to hopefully when they go live on Wednesday nights, hopefully that'll be one of the first events that he'll be at against Omega. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, his somebody's getting a phone call from probably Conrad Thompson. They're going Hollywood on me.
Crap! Oh! Cease and desist. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, his injury though, I think he's gonna be healed by the time it's the television tapings.
It was just a staph infection, wasn't it?
Yeah,
MRSA.
it's MRSA. So
okay.
But I don't know how long that takes to heal. I know he's had issues with it before when he was with WWE. So like I said, and I think he came back fairly quick from that. But it's better to be 100% because you're going to need him going forward with this. When you go head to head on Wednesday nights, you're going to need him.
Yeah, it's not like the old days where they put on the big skateboarder elbow pad and go out and wrestle with it. Still, you'll be fine, kid.
Yeah. Can I add something in this too? Real quick.
I guess.
Unless you want to move on. No, go ahead. You can move on. You can move on then.
What?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm messing with you. You can ask a question, dude.
I was just gonna say that I hope what AEW kind of does different with this is I miss when the long-term feuds. WWE doesn't have any long-term feuds anymore because they have pay-per-views every month and they don't extend the feuds out like they used to. So hopefully when Moxley comes back, they can extend the feud between him and Omega, or even Pac and Kenny. Either one doesn't really matter. I mean, they're still going to be great, but I'm hoping that's what they kind of focus on too, is long-term feuds with the company. I really miss stuff like that.
It's hard though for WWE because when you look on Twitter and stuff, people want everything like this.
Yeah, I mean, fans are kind of impatient nowadays too. You know what I mean? But it's still me being, I don't know. I just like long-term feuds, especially when they're really good. I remember when they used to have all types of stuff back in the day, when I was growing up, even back in your days too, in the Attitude Era and stuff like that, feuds were extended out for a period of time and you were always invested into it. It was
young blood. I came from the 80s too, man. I saw some real long-term stuff we're going to beat Dusty Rhodes up tonight right around 9 p.m. Then he won't be back for 6 months because Dusty's got to book some stuff. And then he finally makes his comeback, and that's what you get to see.
But yeah, I mean, stuff like that. I mean, long-term feuds are really good, man. And especially, I just hope they bring it back with, AEW. I mean, WWE's not going to do it because, they haven't done it in years. So, and I feel like if they even did it in WWE, people would complain about it either way. So,
yeah, it makes sense what you're saying. I get it. Chris.
As far as Moxley goes, yeah, I was hurt. I was hurt because the MRSA is very serious. I've seen many people who had it. I know many people who had it, and it's really a very serious thing. And as far as Pac and Omega, oh yeah, I'm all up in that. It's one of your cases that your plan B turned out to be better than your plan A. Pac and Omega are definitely gonna just burn this house down. Just burn the motherfucker down for real. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really dope, man. I think that, like I said, I think it's an upgrade of a match, but I think now they've added fuel to that fire with, you know what? Zach's probably the perfect person to talk to us about. He's the New Japan guy. And to me, when he said the New Japan tournament thing, that was a big shot. Ooh, that was good.
Oh, yeah.
That was good. And I got the t-shirt to prove it. So, Zach, what do you think of all this?
Ooh, I actually heard about that Kenny Omega promo, first of all. What a cut to Mox and that promo. Yeah, I actually won that tournament that you were in. Way to go. Okay, as far as John Mox is concerned, that really did hurt a lot because they were building this thing up for so long, him and Omega. And I'm not saying this just as a Mox fan, but just as somebody that watches pro wrestling and loves storytelling. It hurts me from the standpoint that Mox was supposed to be in the main event of GCW's Bloodsport next month. So now they're having to get a new opponent for Josh Barnett. And I'm saying to myself, my fiance and I are not happy. We're really looking forward to. She's actually growling right now, believe it or not. She's actually growling about Mox not being there, but things actually happen. It's real life shit. It really has happened. So with Mox, speedy recovery. As far as Pac and Omega, when I actually saw that actual picture, anybody that knows me on Twitter knows that I like to actually use the "Oh snap" by Will Smith a lot. So that was my actual reaction when I actually saw it. And I'm looking very forward to the match. Very big up.
Yeah, I'm really digging it, and I think that's going to be something that's super dope. Now, guys, the next question I got here is kind of a two-parter, and we can kind of get into another match that you guys want to. I'm going to ask two questions. So the first question is going to be, what match are you most looking forward to on this card? It doesn't have to be the main event. It doesn't have to be anything else. Just tell me what match has you most excited. And also, who do you want? Keyword is want as the first AEW champion. Chris, we're going to start with you, my good sir.
Oh man, I have like about 4, maybe 5 matches that I'm excited for.
One. Pick one.
Oh, pick one. Ah, damn, Conrad, you're cutting me. That hurt, bro. That hurt. You know what? Fuck it. Lucha Bros, Young Bucks, Escalera de la Muerte, ladder match for the AAA tag team titles.
I'm glad you said it, not me.
I love it. I love the Lucha Brothers. I watched the Lucha Brothers even when they were in Lucha Underground, and of course the Young Bucks are the Young Bucks. So, and I'm gonna hopefully pull a queen here that maybe we see some LAX get involved. Hopefully.
Don't tease me now. Don't tease me now.
I think it's too early for them.
Well,
I'd wait.
You gotta say some stuff on TV.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got the ladder match. You got the ladder match you're looking forward to. Did you have a prediction for that?
Lucha Brothers.
Okay.
Lucha Brothers retain.
All right. I've only heard one person go like super crazy with it, and it's Tiffany who picked the Young Bucks. And she came with victory, and it made sense. It was good. I'm just saying. But she's the only person. So right now, I will have to give her all the credit if she sticks with it. So let me ask you this then. Who do you want as the first AEW champion? Who does Chris want? Not the people, Chris.
Oh, man.
You've got old school versus like the new guy.
Oh, man. Everywhere, I'm going to make a case for both of these guys. Okay. Everywhere that Jericho's been, he's been a champion. WCW, champion there. WWE, multiple time champion there. New Japan, Intercontinental champion. Wherever he's been, he has been a champion. And they need and if anybody needs some of that veteran leadership, even though you have guys like a Jim, you have it. Even though you have that seniority in that company, you need somebody with veteran experience like Jericho. And of course, Jericho is a name. Jericho's a name. He has star power. His name carries a whole lot of weight whenever it goes to TNT. Hangman, on the other hand, the future of the company. Do I think it's still kind of too soon for Hangman Page to win a championship? Maybe, maybe not. Test him. Maybe not. Like I said, just test your metal. But on that note, I don't want it to just be an all elite guy as far as Hangman is considered. As you know, my predictions, or one of my predictions, I picked Hangman. As far as that, I may just stick with my pick and go Hangman.
So you're gonna say Hangman?
Yeah, I'll say Hangman.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to this now. Now it's on audio.
But I wouldn't hate it if it's Jericho either. I would not hate it at all.
All right, you saved yourself. In case any Jericho haters came after you. Malik, let's get to you here. What match are you most looking forward to? And who do you want as the first AEW champion?
Match I'm looking forward to, definitely Lucha Bros Young Bucks. Everybody loves the Young Bucks, and they're phenomenal, but I love the Lucha Bros, dude. I'm pulling for them 100% in this match. They're probably my favorite tag team in the world right now, to be honest. I mean,
can I ask this question to everybody on here? Is it fair to say that the Lucha Bros need this win too? That's just something to think about.
When I actually get my answer, you'll know.
I think it's fair that they need it.
Because they haven't beat them on anything AEW wise, but they beat them in Mexico, and I haven't seen it. I mean, I just hear the highlight stories of it, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I guess you could say it's fair. I mean, for it to be the first, not the first, but it's probably going to be the biggest pay-per-view for them of the year so far. You could say it's fair. But I mean, I'm not going to be mad if Young Bucks win either. You know what I mean? They're the Young Bucks, so it's they're great. But I really like the Lucha Bros. I think they should win. If I was the book, I would have them go over. But this is, to me, is the match I'm looking forward to the most. As far as the first AEW champion, that's tough, man. I mean, you got two different generations. You got Jericho, who's almost 50, and you got Hangman, who's not even 30 yet, and he's going to be the future of the company. So if I had to pick one, honestly, I would go with Jericho, just because it's the first ever, and he's been kind of the WWE guy for years. So I mean, for him to be in the company is a big deal for them. I think he's a lot of money drawn, and he's, to me, I don't know about you guys, but he's gotten better with age. I think he's evolved with him changing characters and being able to do certain things, to get certain things over. I think he's gotten better as he gotten older. So, if I had to pick one, I think I would go with Jericho, just because it's the first ever, and I would have him take the lead to be the champion until the time is right for him to drop it to somebody. But if Hangman Page wins, I mean, I'm not gonna be upset about that either. But I would have Jericho for lots of reasons.
All right, I respect that. That's a good opinion on it. Andy.
As far as the match that I'm most excited for, I'm a huge Joey Janela mark. So the Joey Janela, Darby Allin, Jimmy Havoc match is the one that I'm most excited to see just live. See those guys tear it up and beat the crap out of each other. I think Janela will probably pick up the victory in that match. Although I think that if AEW is really pushing wins and losses as an important thing, I think Jimmy Havoc needs to do something to really showcase himself. He's taken a lot of losses and not really done a lot to stand out to the fans. And then as far as the first AEW champion goes, I don't really think that Adam Page makes any sense as the champion right now. I think they've done way too much with Page to make him come off more as a joke, if anything, on being the elite and things like that. It took him way too long to treat Adam Page like a serious competitor. And that really has made me fall back on the idea of Page being the first champion. They really haven't done a lot with Jericho either, but Jericho's established himself for such a long time that you don't need to do much with him for me to take him serious as champion. But Page has really just started getting the ball rolling, and I think they need to wait a couple months and have him chase before they have anything like that.
Okay, respect. RJ?
All right, so I'm going to throw a curveball in there. This is going to be my sneaky good match of the night. Is going to be the Shawn Spears and Cody match. That's what I'm looking forward to. This is going to be Shawn Spears' coming out party. He never got the chance that he rightly deserved in the WWE. He's matched with probably we can legitimately say one of the better workers going today. And it also helps that he's one of the EVPs as well. But I just think we're going to see, like I called the upset in the other match previously with the UK. I'm seeing Spears beating Cody this weekend. Just because I think we're going to see a good match regardless. So nobody's really technically going to lose because they're going to both get over even more than they already are. But that's going to be my match that I'm looking forward to.
RJ, I got a side question for you then.
Sure, shoot.
Tully Blanchard is going to be in Sean Spears' corner. Who's in Cody's corner?
Dustin.
You think it's Dustin?
I think Brandy's going to be too obvious of a choice because she's always there. Because I think if you put Dustin in his corner, you're going to see the nostalgic feeling with as far as their father and all the history that Tully and Dusty had. So I think that is going to be playing on the emotion. That would play on the emotions of the fans live and watching. So I think that would be the better. That's how I would do it. Could I be wrong? Probably, but but that's even if he has anybody in his corner. He may just say, "Okay, hang back, guys, and let me do this on my own. This is on me," sort of thing.
I feel like the tease is there. I feel like the tease is there for it. Does anybody else have a quick thought on that before I have RJ give his pick for the world champion?
I would say Dustin too. That's what I was gonna say. I mean,
I'm both, man. I'm throwing out Double A. I'm saying Double A Arn Anderson. I don't know if his thing runs out by then, whatever the severance package was with WWE, but Double A would be the perfect fit to have in Cody's corner.
That would be good too. Double A. That's good. That's actually a good mention.
He might not be able to do it though. Anyone else got a different person?
I think MJF might do it just for the possibility of a turn after the match on Cody.
Oh, don't make me hate this dude already more than I do. Don't do that.
I don't know. I think it's a perfect story for them to tell. So I think they gotta be leading that way. Just the weird relationship between MJF and Cody. It's gotta pay off somewhere, and this could be it.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
I thought it was bad enough when he tried to give chocolate to the dog. You can't. Don't do this, MJF. Don't do that. Anybody else? Anybody got something off the wall that they think could happen? We're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, for now.
All right. And RJ, first AEW champion. Who do you want?
When they announced this match months ago, I've been going back and forth in my mind so much my head hurts. Obvious choice is Jericho, the name. You remember the first champion. However, who I want would be Adam Page for this reason and this reason alone. You get Adam Page winning. You have Jericho go absolutely ballistic after the match, causing him to be even more of a heel than he already is in this company. Going forward, making it more, having him be hated even more. And I hear everybody saying, "Oh, Adam Page, it's too soon. They're shoving him down our throat already. He's made it, like you said before, he's being made fun of on being elite." Well, then you know what? Why not? Now's the time to do it. Going forward to TV, you have to, leave something for TV. Who knows? Maybe come October, maybe Page will drop it to Jericho on their first live show or their taping or their live show, excuse me. So I'm going to say Adam Page just for that, because I think the kid's ready. And, you always remember the first champion, whatever it may be, the IC title with Patterson, in Rio. You may not necessarily remember the name Adam Page, 15 years down the road. Hopefully, AEW will still be a company in 15 years. But you'll remember the match, because this isn't going to be a wrestling match, guys. You guys know that. You're going to see blood, and you're going to see these guys put it all out, because no pun intended. And put on one heck of a match for this man. And I'm assuming this is going to be probably be the main event. So make the fans wanting more, guys. That's why these guys do what they do, and that's why they're going to make that first live show mean something even more than All Out.
I like it, RJ. That's some good stuff. Last but not least on this one, Zach, match you're looking forward to, and who do you want as the first AEW champion?
Okay, I'm thinking I'm gonna piggyback off a majority of our panelists. The A tag team title match, the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks. Everything else on the show is pretty good looking. I'm not gonna lie, but when I heard that match, and I discussed this with the Headlock Talk boys, we were all gushing at that point in time at the thoughts of the Lucha Brothers and the Bucks just jumping off of ladders and doing crazy spots like they've been known to do. So for that alone, that's why I actually am looking forward to that match the most. As far as the AEW World Championship is concerned, I would go with Chris Jericho. He's the biggest name that they have. Plus, if anybody knows me, here comes the facts. I believe he's not been a world champion in over 9 years. The last time he held a world title, he was in WWE. And I say he's done his fair amount of putting people over. Let's get a world title on him. And also, going into the new show in October, we're going to need somebody that can pull people in. And Chris Jericho, say what we will about him, he is the biggest draw that they have.
Okay, I can respect that. Now, did you say between Lucha Bros and Young Bucks, who did you pick for winning that match?
Oh, I'm going with the Lucha Bros. And here's where I was teasing something earlier. AAA, the AAA promotion, is actually having a show at Madison Square Garden on the 15th of September.
The Garden is canceled, though.
Oh, really?
It's across the street now. At I think it's is it the Hulu Theater?
Yeah, the Hulu Theater.
Yeah.
Well, either which way, AA is coming to America, and I'm thinking that they're gonna want actual pure talent from that promotion. So the Lucha Brothers are the best key to go.
That's a good way of thinking of it. Like I said, Tiffany's the only one who called the Young Bucks winning and defending the belts at that event. So I'm going to give her all the credit in the world. If it happens, I'm probably going to shit bricks watching it. Like, I can't believe she called this. But it'll make things very interesting. And when it comes to the first AEW champion, I'm with everyone who picked Jericho for the most part. And Zach said something that I really want to reiterate. Why do you give it to Jericho? I get that a lot of people build around the young guy for Paige. I disagree with the whole Hangman Page is being shoved down our throats thing. Save it, people. They've only had 5 shows. Knock it off. With when it comes to this, Jericho has always put other people over. He had the chance to win the Royal Rumble, and he let Sheamus beat him. And that was said by several people. Jericho was supposed to win. He said, let Sheamus win it. I don't need it. He always put the other guy over. I think this is the kind of thank you to Jericho for always doing the right thing, and this is what you get. Boom. Let Jericho be the first AEW champ. That's just my 2 cents on it.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking too. I think it's going to be kind of like a reward for him, even signing with the company too. I mean, you got to think go back to the press conference when they did the whole first press conference and Jericho came out and he said, I'm all in with All Elite Wrestling. You're like, what? Jericho, he's not going back to WWE? He's staying here?
He's a recognizable face. I heard someone say that. I believe Andy was the one who said, Hangman Page can chase. There's nothing wrong with a young baby face going after the world champion. It works perfect. He can do the redemption storyline. He's the cowboy, right? What's the best thing in all cowboy films? And I know JR is probably in a room saying this right now. The man has to get back up on his horse, go back into town, and then go find the guy who took whatever he wanted, the gold or whatever you want to think of it as. It's a perfect story. And then he can come back, do some cowboy shit, and win the belt. It works.
Yeah. They did it with Gargano in it. You know, it worked with him too when he won it.
That's
when he first won.
And I have to say this just because I keep bringing up Hangman Page. I like horses. All right. So I had to say it at least one time.
Hey everyone, David Conrad here, owner of the Gorilla Position Wrestle Store. We're an online store headquartered in San Antonio, Texas, bringing you the best and original wrestling shirts, accessories, collectibles, and more. We're glad to be partnering with Brainbusta Radio, and to thank them and to thank you, we're offering 10% off all purchases with the coupon code BRAINBUSTA. That's BRAINBUSTA. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under @GPWrestleStore, or check out our website, www.gpwrestlestore.com. Remember, when you want the best wrestling experience, you gotta hang out in Gorilla Position.
Everything Pro Wrestling, it's your boys from the Everything College Basketball Podcast and Facebook group. I'm Josh Burton, letting you all know that if you like the college game, that there's only one spot to come find all you need to know.
Yep, Josh, Peyton, and myself, Tyler. We are the three voices of ECB podcast and Facebook group. Peyton, tell them where they can find us and listen to us at.
Well, Tyler, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and all other podcast hosting sites. Also, go join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups like Everything College Basketball. So if you want everything you need to know about the collegiate game or have a passion for it, there's only one spot that you need to check out on a weekly basis or a daily basis with the Facebook group. That's Everything College Basketball. Now let's get back to Conrad informing you on everything pro wrestling and the workings around it.
Brother.
Zach, you're about to get the not-so-mystery question of the day.
All right.
So we're going to kick it with you. This is my last question for you guys, and this is a multifaceted one as well. First question. Do we see CM Punk at All Out? Then I want to ask you, will we see any other surprises besides that?
Ooh, the $1 million question that comes around every some odd often. Will CM Punk come back to pro wrestling? Okay. Well, he's actually scheduled for StarCast, so I would not be surprised if we did see him in some capacity or form on All Out.
Can I pause you real quick, too? Let me just say this, too. I don't want anyone to get, hurt if they don't see CM Punk. I want people, lower your expectations. Right now, I'm telling everybody who doesn't know if he's showing up, assume no. Go ahead, Zach. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I was going to say the same thing. Thank you very much. I agree. Do not get your hopes up, people. Seriously. Just because the man is showing up for this Comic-Con-like event doesn't mean he's going to actually show up on the show. It's a high possibility because of where we are, Chicago. However, CM Punk could possibly not show up. So if he doesn't show up, please know that he wasn't interested in doing this.
Do you think we see any other surprises?
Any other surprises? I would not be surprised if we actually saw the longest reigning TNA Tag Team Champions, the LAX, or now possibly just going by EYFBO, show up. Post credit scene for Lucha Bros versus the Bucks.
Okay. All right. I hear you on that. I hear you. Chris?
Punk being it All Out, I highly doubt it. But it wouldn't surprise me nonetheless. People were speculating that Punk was going to be at All In last year. And people were like, oh no, he's not going to be there. Oh no, the feeling's going to hurt. But the show was still awesome anyway, whether he showed up or not. And my thing is, it's going to be awesome whether he shows up or not. If he shows up, hell yeah, I'm all in that. If he doesn't show up, life goes on. Say la vie, whatever. Just still enjoy the show.
What about other surprises? Any speculation?
It may be part of the buy-in, but Tessa Blanchard is the Joker.
Ooh, that's a big call. Listen, Chris, I'm gonna say something. There's a reason her daddy's been working for the company, and I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing. I think it's the way that. How's Tessa been? Oh, she's over out back by the grill. Can I go talk to her for a second? You know, I just want to say hello and hey, when's your contract up? Blah blah blah. You know how the business goes with this. It would not surprise me. That's a good pick.
Either Tessa or Jordan for the wild card, or Tessa comes out by Cody just to confront her dad.
Jordan Grace, you're talking about?
Jordan Grace for either Tessa or Jordan Grace for the wild card. The Joker in the Battle Royal.
Okay. I like it. Let us go with Malik.
As far as CM Punk, I don't know, man. You never really know in pro wrestling. I mean, you hear rumors all the time. Hold on, Malik.
Time out too. Real quick. Did you guys see the StarCast little video with him?
I did.
No.
Yeah.
What a dirty tease that was too to do that.
Oh yeah.
He's in the ring, hitting the ropes like, this hurts, man. I could roll my ankle doing this stuff. And then he's doing flips on the thing. Oh, I did a bump. You owe me $20,000. That was dirty. But go ahead, Malik. I just wanted to make sure everybody saw that too before they hear us talk about this.
I haven't seen it, but I'll check it out after we get off here. But with wrestling, you never know, though, man. You hear rumors all the time online, especially with social media nowadays. You just got to speculate what you believe. But, I mean, it all depends on if he wants to come back. I mean, if he wants to come back, I think AEW is the perfect place for him to go. And I would love to see CM Punk come back. I mean, I was a huge CM Punk fan when he was in WWE. So if he came back, I'm going to lose my mind. But if he doesn't show up, well, it's kind of just like, he didn't show up again. But if I had to say if he's going to show up or not, I'd probably say no. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't want to say it's hard for me to believe he's going to come back to wrestling, but it's just the stuff that you hear him say in interviews, about how he just has this sour taste in his mouth about pro wrestling and everything. It just makes you feel like maybe he's just bullshitting with us. I don't know. But, maybe I don't think he feels like he wants to wrestle anymore.
I think he doesn't want to answer the question. I think he reminds me of like old school Jericho a little bit, kind of like he doesn't want you to know if he's going to come back. If he does,
that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. So you can't really read, and you can't read through him. So it's kind of hard to say if he wants to or not. But I think now would be, like I said, the perfect time. If he's going to come back, this is the company I think would be great for him, and it would be, I think it'd set the wrestling world on fire. So it would be. The internet would go crazy if he came back at All Out, and you hear that cult to personality music and stuff. But as far as other surprises, Tessa Blanchard was a good mention. That would be pretty cool to see her there. I think she's probably the best female free agent outside of AEW or WWE right now. LAX would be pretty cool to see. I don't really have any other surprises, to be honest, man. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that would be like crazy to see. Besides, those two would be pretty cool. CM Punk would be awesome to see. Even if CM Punk showed up with his wife, that would be even better. I think, if they showed up together, I think that would be pretty dope too. So, I'll just have to stick with that. As far as that happens, don't be surprised if we don't get any surprise either. There might not be any surprises. There might just be a full show.
You might wait. You might wait till TV too. I was with Andy. Like when Andy said that thing before, you have television coming up. You got to save some stuff for that too. You can't just blow the loop right here. Sorry.
As far as I know, I think they said that they haven't even announced their full roster yet. So they're definitely saving stuff for just TV. They said they haven't even announced the full roster that they have going into the TV show. So they have a lot of stuff coming for us that they haven't even shown yet.
Andy, it's on you, my good friend. I've been waiting to hear your opinion on this.
I can say with absolute confidence that CM Punk will be at All Out, and here's why. So, back in 2013, I bought some tickets to see CM Punk live at a Road to WrestleMania tour, a Road After WrestleMania tour. Bought my tickets just to see CM Punk. 2 weeks later, Punk retires. Now we're here in 2019. I have my tickets to go to All Out. Punk knows he owes me one. so he's gonna be there. Realistically speaking, Punk isn't gonna be there. I would love it. I think in the dream world, Punk shows up. I think AJ Lee shows up in the Battle Royal and wins that. I think that's all great in a dream world, but in a realistic world, Punk ain't showing up. I do think that maybe someone like John Morrison, they've teased him a lot on being the Elite. He might show up in some capacity. I don't know how they would involve him in anything, but they might try and involve him on the roster. But I think you guys are right. They're trying to save a lot or save as much as they can now for TV. They already had to reach into their bag of goodies and pull Pac out of their hole. So I don't know. I think we might not get too many surprises at this point, or if they are surprises, it's more in the women's division, like Tessa Blanchard, as people have talked about already.
Johnny Elite? Oh, such a cringe. I hate the gimmick names that he always has to go by. He's always Johnny like gimmick name.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this guy has so many
names.
names.
Oh, Jesus, help us.
Yeah, so it's always tough. But you don't think there's anyone else though that could debut if you had to put money down, Andy?
If I had to put money down on it, I would say it's Tessa Blanchard or maybe someone like LAX, because I'm going to be safe with my money. I'm definitely not going to go all in on someone like Punk. I would love it, but and if it happens, I'm going to be going ballistic there live, so I would love to see it. But as a fan who's been bitten so many times, I don't want to believe it anymore.
Yeah.
I respect it. I respect it. So many people have always done it. CM Punk's probably my second favorite superstar of all time, so I completely get the hype for the guy. To be honest, I was arguing in one of my Facebook groups about the CM Punk chants. If you guys heard any of them at SummerSlam, I guarantee you I probably started it. And because someone looked at me like, you douchebag, I can't believe you started that chant. And I'm like, dude, if something's not happening or if that's who I want you to sign, go get him. Go do something. But like, I'm telling you who I want to see. I don't see it as a problem. I mean, if they did it all the time throughout the show, I get it. And if Punk wants to come back, he comes back. I understand the dude's privacy and if he doesn't want to do it anymore. But
There's somebody else I could throw out there too. I don't know if he'll ever come back to pro wrestling. He may not, but Ted DiBiase Jr. I always liked him when him and Cody were together. So I don't know if he'll ever come back to wrestling or not, but I think that would be pretty cool if they did something with that. I mean, I doubt it, but
Ted turns on him and both of his tag partners turned on him. Yeah, I like Ted DiBiase Jr. though. He always had the look. I don't know what went wrong with that whole ordeal.
They said he had a from what I heard, they said he wasn't really passionate about it, like his dad was, anything like that. Like he wasn't real passionate into the business.
It's hard being a second generation or third generation.
Yeah. They said he felt like he had too much weight on him. You know what I mean? They lived up to expectations of his dad and shit.
Yeah. RJ, it is on you, my friend.
Alrighty. So, by saying, is CM Punk going to be at All In? Do you mean in ring or at the show?
Shows up. We see him on camera. He's out there talking.
I going to say yes. We won't see him in the ring, but for whatever reason, I think they're going to go for that big time pop. I really do. Am I going to be disappointed if I don't see it? No. Do I understand it? Yes. But I think for some reason that they're going to have him show up on the camera just so they get that pop in Chicago. You know, they're going to do something that WWE will never do. Well, not only not have CM Punk on TV, but, not go for that hometown pop. But, like I said, if he doesn't show up, I won't be too disappointed. But that necessarily, if he's not going to be on camera, doesn't mean that he's not there. He could be backstage saying hi to guys or whatever. That could be a possibility as well. But as far as being on camera, I can definitely see that happening. But yeah, it is what it is, though.
I mean, you got to think I wonder how many times he gets asked that question when you coming back.
Yeah, he definitely watch that video. You'll see.
Well, no, if you watch that video, he's playing it up like he's gonna be there.
Yeah.
And then but the thing is, though, if he's playing it up, okay, maybe he won't be there because I think he's just playing that up.
No, he's just messing with people at this point. He's probably having fun.
I mean, you got to think, for any wrestler, when they leave wrestling and they retire, they always get asked that. I mean, I've heard Stone Cold in his podcast, people still ask him to this day. He's like, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm not coming back, bro. Like, it's over.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to run through everybody one last time, and I'm going to ask you one last question. It's kind of a yes or no, or you just tell me which one you would pick. if you are in AEW's booking team, let's just say you're in the room, the vote is tied right now where it's at with all the executive vice presidents, Nick Sobek, all of them are like, okay, it's on you. CM Punk's debuting tonight. We're having a split. Should he be on pay-per-view or on TV? What would you do? The pen is in your hand. They hand it to you. What do you say? You got the deciding vote. So, Zach, what do you say? Pay-per-view or TV if you had to debut CM Punk if you're AEW?
Pay-per-view.
Chris?
Pay-per-view hands down. That's going to get major eyeballs to go to TV the exact first episode.
Okay, Chris?
Pay-per-view. With everything Zach just said, pay-per-view.
Okay. Malik?
Pay-per-view. Easily. I mean, the pay-per-view's in Chicago, his hometown. This is the last pay-per-view before you head into your TV show. It's pay-per-view.
Andy?
I think as long as you have Punk under a contract and you have a show in Chicago, you're doing yourself a disservice to not have him debut there. So it's got to be on the pay-per-view.
And RJ?
Well, before I get to the TV and pay-per-view, my surprise entrant at the pay-per-view is going to be the villain himself, Marty Scurll.
Ooh, I don't know if his contract's up yet. Maybe it is. I heard
it's worth a shot.
Marty's dead to them, so.
Well, he'll rise from the dead.
At least to try.
What do you got, pay-per-view or TV?
You know, I really want to say pay-per-view because it makes more sense, but I just want to, have them hint at something on the pay-per-view for them to lead for him to debut on TV because, they want to save something for TV. If you blow it all on at All In or All Out, excuse me, what are you going to have for TV? You know what I mean? But for the most, it makes sense to put them on pay-per-view, so I'm going to say pay-per-view.
Nice. Well, gentlemen, it's been an incredible roundtable to talk some AEW with you guys. I wanted to give each and every one of you some time here to go through and plug your channels, whatever you've got going on, whatever you are doing. So why don't we go around roundtable style and let's start off with, let's go the way we started. Let's start with RJ.
All right. Well, first and foremost, thanks for having me on, Conrad. It was definitely a pleasure to sit down with all of you guys here and be on the show. You can find the Ringside Rant on Twitter at _Ringside Rant. We just released a show yesterday with Kurt Stallion from Evolve Wrestling.
Nice.
So go check that out. We're across wherever you hear podcasts. We're on there: iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor, Stitcher. Pretty much wherever you get it, you can hear it. And going further, we got a lot of good stuff coming out. I got another interview coming out next Tuesday with Stephen Wolf, who's also from Evolve. A great guy that, if I had to stop recording because we'd be talking for hours. So, but yeah, go head over and subscribe and give us a follow. Every Tuesday, I come out with interviews, and every once in a while, I'll throw out a special show on there on a different day. So, but thank you very much for having me.
No, RJ, thank you for doing it. And I'll put everybody's Twitter handle at least in there so people can find your content and follow you guys and stuff.
Very good.
All right, Andy.
Yeah, you can find the All Elite Podcast anywhere you can find podcasts, on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, all that happy stuff. You can find us on Twitter at All Elite Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at All Elite Andy. Every Tuesday we drop a new podcast. We're also doing a bit of a fantasy game with AEW, so that's something to keep an eye on. We're finishing this season of fantasy with All Out, and then we're going to start another season and do a couple of giveaways with that. So if you're interested in fantasy football or fantasy sports, you might be interested in what we got going on. So check that out.
Andy, thank you for coming on, brother, and be safe when you go out there, man. Have fun.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching your Twitter feed. Where are you going to be posting the videos to?
Probably just YouTube and Instagram, probably. All Elite Podcast on Instagram as well.
Okay. Thank you, good sir. Malik.
Appreciate you for having me. Me and you do a lot of stuff together. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, Malik Kelly94. My YouTube channel, Narcolepsy Boy 94. I do reactions for WWE, AEW, which I'll have reactions posted live on my channel Saturday. I also do a lot of podcasts, a lot of top 10 countdown shows, a lot of review shows for old pay-per-views and old stuff. And I also do a lot of trivia battles and stuff like that on my channel. So make sure you guys go check that out.
Thank you, Malik. I appreciate you coming on once again, brother. Shout out to Kyron too. I know we do a lot of videos with him as well. Chris.
Where everybody's plugging their podcast, some sort of the plebeian here, but yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at black_Baymax8. My the recent edit I just dropped for Tokyo Cyber Squad, it's live. You can check it out. I'm also on Instagram on the same handle, black_Baymax8. I'm the official U.S. designer for DYWTSB, so make sure you go follow everybody over there. And yeah.
If you guys have never seen Chris's designs on Twitter, Chris definitely does some dope graphic arts. I'm definitely waiting for him to make some for me. I know I got to get in line, so I got to wait my turn. But hopefully I can get some graphic arts from him eventually. I love the stuff you did for JPQ. That stuff looked beautiful, actually, in the background of his stream. So really dope stuff by you, man. And he gave you a shout out during all of that too. So check out Chris's artwork on Twitter. And Zach.
All right, here I am. Well, you can find me on Twitter at ZACSHI130. You could also find me on Instagram and Facebook under Zachary Shiloh. I have a little show or two called Black Lions Airspace and Black Lions Eyesight. And as I hinted earlier, Chris actually designed my show logo. So please follow him, RJ, and everybody that's been on this panel. They're great dudes to follow.
Yes, I thank everybody who took the time out to listen. If you guys are probably getting ready to gear up for all of your wrestling, I know this will be coming out Friday night. So make sure that you guys give this a good listen. Have some fun while you're watching these shows. Like I said, don't put all your heart and soul into someone debuting, or if one person doesn't show up, it doesn't make for a great show. That's BS. Don't go for it. Enjoy yourself. Whether you're watching Royal Quest, Wrestling Resurgence, NXT UK, AEW. August 31st is a day for wrestling fans. Unite with wrestling fans. Enjoy your family, whoever you're watching it with, and have a good time, man. Other than that, guys, I've got nothing else to say except for we are out. Peace.
See you later.
Deuces.